Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am so glad to be here in Vidalia today, and we're about to have the ribbon cutting for the Tommy and Shirley Strickland Cancer Center. And guys, we have watched this thing. Me and you, Miss Shirley, was talking a minute ago. You'd asked me had I seen the Cancer Center, and to be able to watch it through the stages was really nice. And I know y'all have watched it that way. But now that we see it like it is, what's your first thoughts?
I think they have made a beautiful place here to make the cancer patients be as comfortable as they possibly can. It's very serene, it's pretty, and hopefully when somebody has to come here, and we wish nobody had to, but if they do, hopefully with the way they've done it, it will at least make them feel a little bit better to know they're in a really nice place.
And I don't think anybody watching us today has not had cancer touch someone they love or someone in their family. And I know cancer to you is really personal, Mr. Tommy, because you've had cancer in your family. Share that with me.
Yeah, I lost my mother and my father with cancer. My mother was 62 years old, so she was very young. And I lived out of town, a different town than she did, so I wasn't around very much while she was going through all the treatments. But when my dad got cancer, I was fortunate enough I had moved back town and spent a lot of time with him. And we made several trips to Savannah, for treatments. And never forget getting home from Savannah, and I was thinking about how tired I was. And then it just hit me, well, imagine how tired he is.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, that's all.
Yeah, and it adds time to our lives when that travel, you just said it, you summed it up in a nutshell, because that does have to take days or weeks or sometimes years off your life with that travel time. And so many of us, we can't afford to go to Savannah and stay at the Ritz-Carlton or the Hilton or whatever. We had to come back home, and that drive is tough. And then to go back and forth, to take to many treatments. But cancer it don't discriminate at all. Cancer reaches. I was with someone just before I came to Vidalia talking about a 19-year-old boy with testicular cancer. So even this young 19-year-old is stricken with cancer. And places like this where you don't have to drive, Miss Strickland, it's just amazing. And y'all live here in Vidalia now, I know, for the last several years, I guess. But
Yes.
I was thinking a few minutes ago, when we're gone and been gone for 100 years, what this place will do for the people of Southeast Georgia. That's an awesome feeling, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And, of course, our hope is that in that far in the future, somebody will have found a cure.
Amen.
And we won't have to worry about something like that.
I like your thinking. Tell me where this all come from. What made y'all make this sizable contribution?
Well, I don't know exactly how to answer that. I was on the Cancer Foundation board, and we were looking for a donor, and I went home and said to Tommy, okay, we're going to be looking, for a donor. And he sat there for a little while, and he said, well, maybe that's something we want to talk about. And so we did, and from there we decided to go ahead and do it.
Right, and to get to where we are today. So when she mentioned that to you, Mr. Tommy, how long did you sit there, and what was going through your mind at that moment?
Well, I guess that was something that I had been thinking about for a long, long time, doing that. And I think my friend Otha Dixon told Howard that if you push him a little bit, he'll do it. And
they know you pretty good.
Exactly. So Howard got Shirley on the board, and
Right.
so he knew what he
was playing offense. Wasn't he?
Exactly.
We both know Howard well. So.
Exactly, and it had been in my mind for quite a while, and that little nudge made me do it. I mean,
what do you think your parents would say if they were here today, knowing what they went through? What do you think they'd be thinking?
I just think they'd be very proud of us.
Mm-hmm.
They'd just say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And where was you raised at?
In Claxton.
Okay.
Which is right down the road.
And that's where your business was in
Yes.
Claxton, right?
And of course we got business here also.
Okay.
So.
And what made y'all move to Vidalia?
We had a grandson that we raised that was going to school here, and we were Shirley was carrying him back and forth. And when he turned 16 and got licensed, we didn't want him driving, so we decided to move here.
Yeah.
And we love it here and going to stay here. So.
Yeah, and I see his face, Miss Shirley. I couldn't see you back here, but our grandyoungins. Now, that's just, we'll all start crying if we start talking about our grandkids, you know. But that's just a great time in life, isn't it, to be able to enjoy. And I'm speaking on behalf of myself as the proud grandparent, but I saw his face, and I can imagine you back here thinking the thoughts about your grandchildren. But there's nothing like grandchildren, are there?
That's right. We have 8.
Oh, wow, yeah. That is good. Mm-hmm. And those memories and those times you driving back and forth, and I know from Claxton to Vidalia, it's not a long, long way, but it is a little trip across here. But I'm sure y'all shared a lot of conversations.
We did.
Made a lot of memories, didn't you?
Yes, that's true. And like Tommy said, when he turned 16, though, we didn't want him making that drive as a new driver, So God works in ways. He brought us here, and we absolutely love it here. So
Amen.
We've been very happy, and this city's been very kind to us.
Yes.
And we appreciate it.
Well, when I first introduced myself outside, as we were all 3 fanning gnats out there, that's why we're in the building, y'all. But I could feel a certain spirit about y'all. And I can tell your faith is important to you.
Yes, it is.
And would you share a little bit about that with me, where y'all go to church? And
I'd be happy to. We go to church here at the First United Methodist Church.
Mm-hmm.
We've always gone to the United Methodist Church.
Plug there.
There you go.
But we all serve the same God. We all agree on that, don't we?
That's true. That's true. No, we love you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
If you're a Baptist or whatever.
Hey, I mean, we can get them saved too, can't we?
Right.
But yeah, and being involved in the church, and and God tells us in the Scripture that we're supposed to be in church and to have that fellowship with one another, and to pool our resources, and to bring our talents and our time and our money all to the storehouse, and I'm sure. A part of First United Methodist Church here, there's some great people there, and y'all can do some great things when you put all those talents together, can't you?
Right. It's a wonderful church, and that's a big part of, I think, becoming the community, and that's where, when we first hear that we met some of our best friends now was there at that church. So we just have been, it's like this was the place we were supposed to be at this time, and we're very happy to be here.
And, I know we all 3 believe in the power of prayer. And listen to Miss Shirley, God sent y'all to this town at this time, and this church at this time. And I'm sure 10, 15 years ago, you never envisioned sitting here in Vidalia or living here in Vidalia.
Right.
But God had those plans way out there beyond our understanding. But y'all got 8 grandchildren. How many children?
4.
Okay. Boys, girls?
3 girls and a boy.
Okay, so the girls run the family, huh?
They did, yes. They sure did, yes.
I was at Honors Day this morning with my oldest grandson, and I was telling a young married couple some advice, and one was to, yes, ma'am, and just agree and do what she tells you, and you'll have a long marriage. So,
Right.
And that's where I come from. But how long have y'all been married?
43 years? 44 years.
A little hesitation there, but you
Right,
got it. You
exactly.
got it.
Yeah.
Well, this is a proud day, y'all,
Yeah,
and
it is.
I know as I got to enjoy walking through the doors a while ago with y'all and seeing it all put together and people working and patience in here. I know it's a proud day for you, isn't it?
It is. And one thing, when I was thinking about doing this, my thoughts were, that's a lot of money. I said, but that's not going to change my life.
No.
But maybe it will change somebody else's life.
Amen.
So.
Yeah. And as I mentioned to your wife a minute ago, just think when we're all gone, and we'd love to have a cure for cancer. We don't
Sure.
know what's out there. But look at the lives it'll touch and the faces that I saw just a while ago. It's already touching
Yes.
people in this waiting room out here a while ago. And you mentioned Howard Holman, dear friend of mine, and I've spent many hours with him having good times. And so do y'all go way back? Have you known Howard for a long time?
Just basically for the 8 years we've been here.
Okay.
So.
And before y'all go, Alan Kent's the CEO here.
Yes.
He's done great things in Vidalia since he took over the helm of Meadows. And when you ride by here, you got to be proud of this hospital.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at this place.
Yes.
And my mom was in this hospital down here, and she said, James, my gosh, I cannot believe, you know, what kind of hospital that is. And I remember one of the stories, I told Alan Mama was in the hospital here, and he went by to see her. Well, when he left the room, all the nurses run in and said, how do you know Mr. Kent? How do you know? He never visits patients, you know.
Right.
How do you know him? And but he does take the time to talk, and he knows his employees by name. Mm-hmm. And but I just want to brag on Alan a little bit because I've seen this hospital grow under his realm.
Well, I could say he is a very unique person, and he really made this hospital, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And your opinion on Alan and Howard and the job they're doing here?
Oh, I think they're both doing a fantastic job. They're bringing in great doctors, nursing staffs, and they do a really good job. And Alan and his wife are really nice people, and so is Howard and his wife.
Absolutely.
So they're friends of ours, and we're glad to have them as our friends.
Yeah. And lastly, what would you say to someone watching now that about coming to this cancer center versus, you know, people always think go to a bigger town, you get better service. You know, I'll go to Atlanta, I'll go to Savannah, wherever, but what would you say to that person watching?
I don't think you'd get better care anywhere you go. They've got the latest equipment. They have recruited and have, I think, the best doctors with the best credentials you'll get anywhere. And I don't think it makes any difference about the size. They have this equipment where they, I think, have partnered with another hospital where they can talk to the doctors there online about the problems they're having here, from what I understand.
That's right.
And I don't think you'll get more caring people and people that are really at the top of their profession.
Yep. And have the equipment.
Exactly.
They have equipment that even some of the big hospitals don't have. They've invested in that equipment that will find things that you couldn't find with some of these other machines.
Exactly.
And that takes quite an investment, you know. And, you know, people complain about medical cost, but when we need it, we don't care about the cost, do we?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And like you said, they've got the latest of everything, and I would hope that whoever needs to come here would be able to.
Well, Ms. Shirley, both of you, on behalf of the community and our television station, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for what you've done to make this possible here. And I could sit here all afternoon and couldn't thank you enough, but thank you so much for what y'all done.
Well, you're welcome. And for us, we would like to thank this community for being so good to us.
Yep. Yep. That's a way to give back. And Mr. Tommy, I wanted to look you in the eye and thank you also.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. And it just amazes me to walk through here and to see this state-of-the-art facility that will save lives.
Right.
And that's a great feeling, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And it just, when I ride by, it just makes me feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mr. Tommy, Ms. Shirley Strickland, and we're about to have the ribbon cutting here in a few minutes, and you've been watching a little bit of this B-roll as we've talked, but we're going to take a break, and I'm going to come back with one of the men we've been talking about, the CEO of Meadows Regional Hospital here, Mr. Alan Kent. Stay with us.
If you're suffering from a non-healing wound, we have good news. The Downtown Dublin Wound Center offers advanced treatments, experience, and state-of-the-art technology, including hyperbaric oxygen treatments for healing most any wound, even those that won't respond to conventional treatment. Call us today at 410-3500. Let Dr. Davis and his staff get you on the road to recovery. Downtown Dublin Wound Center, 124D West Madison Street, downtown Dublin.
Welcome back, everybody. As promised, I have the CEO here at Meadows, Alan Kent, and Been a busy day, I know, but thank you for talking to me just a few minutes.
Nice to be here again, James.
First thought, wonderful day.
Yes, it is. This is such a great opportunity to let people in the region know what kind of people and what kind of services are here to be able to provide some of the greatest state-of-the-art cancer care that you'll find anywhere.
And people of the day, obviously, we just finished talking to, our viewers just met Mr. Tommy and Shirley Strickland, wonderful couple who loves this community.
Yes.
And what do you say about this couple?
Well, nobody can say enough about people who spend their lives in the service of other people, and then they look for every opportunity to give back. And so this was just such an incredible, incredible blessing for this organization and this entire community that they stepped up to be part of the Cancer Center.
Yeah, and what a wonderful feeling to be able to stand there and watch this crowd of people who love their community, serve their community, and to take the time out on a kind of a warm day this afternoon to stand in the sun. But it's like a big pep rally out there as I see the smiles and the emotions as you look at those people. How in the world, this amazes me, how do y'all get the kind of equipment? You know, listening to you talk a moment ago, nobody around here other than a research hospital or maybe Emory University or somebody,
Right.
but how do y'all do this? How do you invest in this equipment?
Well, one of the things that we think is most important is that we're a not-for-profit community hospital, and so all the money that's made goes right back into this organization and serving people in this region. And so it's a matter of priorities and it's a matter of stewardship more than anything else. And being willing to make the investments in things like we have a CT simulator here. We have PET CT for staging cancer tumors. So the things that are most important in the delivery of care are our top priorities, and nothing is ever going to get in the way of that.
Yeah. When you sit at your desk during the day and you think about, you know, we're talking about pieces of equipment that save lives. When you sit there in the middle of the day and this comes upon your mind, what is your first thoughts about life-saving equipment for this community?
Well, I think it should be a priority for every hospital leader. It should be top of mind for every medical staff member. It should be top of mind for every board member in any community hospital, because at the end of the day, we're here to serve, and we need to make sure that it all goes together. And it's not just the technology. You've got to find the people. You've got to make sure that people have appropriate training. You've got to make sure that the commitment is there for the quality mission, and then you've got to execute. So those things are really, I think, top of mind for every committed healthcare professional. And so I don't think I'm different than any of them. I just get to be on a great team.
Yeah, absolutely. Rural Georgia, rural America, hospitals are closing every week. How does a hospital like Meadows succeed which is a small rural community?
Well, I'll tell you that it is going to be more and more difficult as we go down the road. You know, the margins just get smaller and smaller every year. Medicare, Medicaid shortfalls, they don't provide payments that even cover the cost. And then, of course, there's a huge indigent care burden in more rural communities, inner cities and rural communities. And so that's got to be top of mind of policymakers in Washington and Atlanta as they think about our healthcare system. So it's really a concern as we look forward. Fortunately, we're in a community that is very committed to making sure that they do everything they can to support their hospital and their medical community, and we hope to encourage more of that. I think at the end of the day, all healthcare is local, and so these are community decisions, and they're going to get to be tougher and tougher decisions. So we've been blessed thus far, and we intend to continue to fight the same battles to try to be successful in the future.
When you sit down and talk to doctors like Dr. Klein and try to attract doctors here, what do you say to them to bring them back to the small rural community?
Well, the main thing we do is we show them around and introduce them to other people who have made that trip before them. We have some of the most outstanding board certified physicians in significant numbers of specialties in this community. They have a beautiful facility to practice in. They have a great peer group of doctors. They have a supportive administration that believes that medical practice is a very high priority. And so it's putting all of that together in a single picture, and I think we just show them what we do and how we think about doctors, how we think about patients, and that draws a lot of people back to us.
What's the hardest part of your job?
I'd love to say that they're all easy parts and that there's not a hard part. I think the hardest parts are balancing all of the competing needs while trying to meet all the regulatory issues. So it's a tough balance in any healthcare organization. It's a tough balance in a physician's office. It's a tough balance in a large hospital group. So it's trying to make sure you're able to juggle all of those plates at the same time without any of them falling.
And the most fun of your job?
Most fun thing we get to do is this. We get to work with some of the greatest people, and I feel blessed every single day I come to work and drive up knowing that I get to work with this community, this team of professionals, the physicians we have, business leaders in our community. It's the people.
Hello, I'm Jessica Hutchison with Pruitt Health Hospice. Our services at Pruitt focus on all aspects of a patient's well-being, including physical, emotional, social, and spiritual, guided by a highly skilled team of professionals that include nurses, social workers, and chaplains. At Pruitt Health Hospice, our team takes the holistic approach of providing care by keeping our patients comfortable, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. We are always here for you at Pruitt Health Hospice, serving all of Middle Georgia.
But on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we want to welcome you and thank you for coming out to show your support of this beautiful medical facility. Tommy and Shirley, we thank you for everything that you've done. Folks, as a chamber exec, I go around the state and see a lot of things happening in a lot of communities. Folks, there's nothing like what we have in the medical community, the education, the people like yourselves that support the community and bring us everything that we have in this hospital, in this community. Our physicians, our nurses, the leadership of the hospital, all working together to make it a better place, along with you folks, our community. So on behalf of the 500 members of the Chamber of Commerce, we welcome you. We hope that you'll take a chance to take a look at the center. It is absolutely beautiful. It is something that we can be proud of as another asset in the medical community. And I will tell you this, when we bring prospects into our community, this is one of the first places they want to go. They want to also talk about education, but they also want to talk about the people. Look around. We got the best in the country. With that said, I would like to ask Robert Greene to come over and give the invocation and get it started.
Would you bow and pray with me? Our gracious Father, we come together on this day thankful, so very thankful for all the people that you've used to make this cancer center a reality. And we are so grateful, Lord, for the care that people that we know and love will receive here. We pray, Lord, that they will be touched, Lord, and inspired. And as I saw on the plaque inside, that they will sense faith, hope, and love as they come here. What a great resource. And Lord, we're thankful for all the doctors, all the medical experts, all the folks who come together, the volunteers, to help persons in their time of illness. And God, we know that this will be an outstanding resource for those who come. And Lord, as they come, we also ask that they would find another resource, and that being you, Lord. Help them in their time of sickness, and Lord, use us all, Lord, to pass on healing and love and care for those in need. We're grateful for this day and for all who have made it possible. We ask your blessing now upon this facility and all who come here. In the name of Christ Jesus we pray. Amen.
So we're here another day celebrating another milestone in the life of this community. And I have to tell you that I am as excited about this as I was when we built the new hospital and opened it up to the community 7 years ago. When I look around and I see y'all, I just have to say thank you, because I really don't believe that this medical community and its development over the last 20 years could have taken place in any other community. I think every one of you knows, just like Bill mentioned, that Vidalia is different. Toombs and Montgomery counties are different. People come out. People are always willing to lend a hand. People are always willing to support, encourage, and the result are the great things we have in this community. So when we're here today, it's delightful to open up and be able to welcome you into this beautiful new facility, and it is a beautiful new facility. But more than just a facility, we have some of the most incredible technology that you can't find in any of the other communities around us. Not Dublin, not Statesboro, not Waycross. You have to go to a much larger city and generally to a research institution to find the technology that we have inside. But again, the technology is like the building. It's a facilitator. It's where things happen. It helps us do the job. What's most important in this organization is what's most important to this community, and that's its people. So we have, and we are blessed to have, some of the finest physicians, some of the greatest support staff in the form of nurses and technologists, and then all the other people behind the scenes that make these things happen. And that's what really makes this cancer center a destination location, and that's what makes Meadows Regional a destination location for healthcare throughout our region. This didn't just start in the last couple of years when we were planning the building of this building, or 6 years ago when we were planning the building of the original radiation center, or 9 years ago when we were planning the original hospital. The work that you see here today is because of the work that's gone on for generations before us. The people that had the foresight to decide that Vidalia needed a community hospital, and then Meadows Regional Medical Center, the Dr. John M. Meadows Memorial Hospital, was born then. And the physicians in the community back then started something, and you'll see some tributes to them, and a couple of them inside here today. People that came forward all along to be members of our board, to be members of our medical staff, to work at the hospital, to be supporters out in the community. You've all had a hand in making this what it is today. And our goal is to continue to grow on that legacy. Mr. Mike Calhoun, our board chairman, said when we built this new hospital that it should be a beacon on a hill, a beacon of hope, of light, of caring, of love. It should be the place that people can come when they're suffering, when they need help, when they need healing. And so today, I hope that we are able to show you another step toward the fulfillment of that vision. And this opportunity to be here today is something I think that speaks well for our entire region as well as our community. If I started enumerating all the people to thank today, I'm certain we would leave many out. So I started with you in the crowd. I've mentioned a couple of our benefactors, but I want to give special attention as we honor Mr. Tommy and Mrs. Shirley Strickland, for whom our beautiful center here is named, for their generosity in helping bring this to fruition. Tommy and Shirley, this community can never thank you enough. People are so giving around here, but they're not just giving of their financial resources. They're giving of their time, they're giving of their talents, they're giving of their creativity. So I want to invite you today to be a continuing part of our community and our medical community. Volunteer if you see the chance. We'll call on you to serve on some different boards. We'll certainly give you plenty of opportunities to be engaged in the medical community here. And when we look around 10 years from now, I think you will see an entirely different legacy. You will see what has grown to today, but we hope to build on it just like it's been built on from our previous generations. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your individual and collective parts in the success of Meadows Regional Medical Center, the Tommy and Shirley Strickland Cancer Center, and the Meadows Health Organization. And I would now like to invite you up to join us in the ribbon cutting.